Hi, how are you? Back from Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Viva. Okay, enough of that. I am happy to be back. And I wanted to talk about turning off your business brain while on vacation. Can you do it? Can you really? Well, I think I was pretty successful this time around. It's really hard to think about anything, actually, when you're in Las Vegas. We had a great time. Robert Feckety and I, my husband, he turns 50 this Thursday. So we went to Vegas. That's what he wanted. So that's what we did. And my truth is that Vegas as a place to go celebrate. I am way the opposite of that. Now, that's not to say I didn't have a great time. I had a great time. Let me be clear. I'll tell you about it. A little bit anyway, because you know what they say about Vegas. I'm kidding. Like, I don't even know why they say that. Somebody like me never needs to say it. The only thing I would have kept a secret is that I ate meat, but obviously I'm not keeping a secret because I'm saying that on this live broadcast. So I prefer quiet because it's quiet. And I don't know if that's because I'm old now. My husband is older. And I know that's not why. I just really, really enjoy like nature and meditation and massage and reading by a pool. That is my idea of vacation. It is not Vegas. That said, Vegas was phenomenal. And if you're ever in Vegas, my husband and I would highly recommend you going to see One by Michael Jackson. It was phenomenal. So was the rock and roll show that we saw that was called something rock and roll at the Hard Rock Cafe. And we stayed at a wonderful place. Thank you, Terry. I know you'll never watch this. But Terry gave us access to his vacation resort at the Hilton Grand. And it was grand, to say the least, for the first few days. And then we went to Mandalay Bay where we saw Michael Jackson One. And if nothing else, it made me cry because I can't believe he's not on this earth, which is crazy. That, of course, part of my business brain made me think about business when I thought about a doctor giving him all of those drugs, which, of course, somebody had to ask him for those drugs, we know, but there comes a point where a professional such as that doctor could have intervened and said, no more. But I assume that $150,000 a month they were paying him was an incentive. Now, that's what I've been told. I don't know if it's true because I don't know anybody in the Jacksons. And I tend to not believe everything I hear. Just so you know. So Vegas was great. I was able to turn off my business brain. 2 nights I woke up like this, thinking about business, thinking about how, I was going to come back and it was going to be, being like shot out of a cannon. And it wasn't really like being shot out of a cannon, especially since I slept until 10. But that's because we got in late and then there's a time change and I was a hot mess this morning. I haven't slept until 10 o'clock in the morning and I can't remember. I'm going to say at least 7 years. That's not an exaggeration. I don't sleep late ever. But I was so exhausted from staying up late. That's what people do in Las Vegas. They go out late and they stay up late. So we went to phenomenal dinners. We went to Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay. We snuck in. And can I just say, I don't usually ever promote the podcast of 13th Avenue Media, which you're going to see totally change in 2019. If you care to ever watch anything else again, you will know that there'll be way more promotion for the podcast, for the Dr. Whisperer, and for 13th Avenue Media. But I totally bamboozled Rob, hubby man, at like 0 o'clock in the morning to do a podcast interview with me. He didn't even know I was doing it because I do the podcast interviews on my phone. You could do that with Anchor. You should look it up. Anchor, like an anchor from a boat. So It was so fun to do that. I really enjoyed that. So that was my business brain being on because I do love to interview people. And I loved interviewing my husband because I think that being married to an entrepreneur has to be exhausting. It has to be frustrating. I don't know, exhausting, something. But it's so important. I look back in my search history just to see if I had done vlogs on being married to an entrepreneur. And I have. I've done like two. I probably didn't go into depth about it as much as I could. I'm not going to do that this time because this is called the business brain on vacation. But it really is. It can't be easy. But I got to say, if you don't have your spouse or your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever on board with you, your family, it makes it much more difficult. Let me say that, much more difficult. It's hard enough. Everybody's telling you that, like, you had a cushy job, or you'll never do that, or it's impossible, or wouldn't you just prefer to clock in and clock out and get a paycheck? All that aside, that's hard enough. But when you don't have your spouse on your side, it becomes even more difficult. So I'm very grateful today that my husband, Rob, understands how completely committed I am to my business. As it used to be one business, and now there's two. And it's not going to change. It's not going to change. So he got on board, and I'm so grateful because he's right. And he said this on the podcast, like, I left a really cushy job, really made a ton of money and had a ton of perks. And I was done at 3, not 7:11, which is right now PM at night. So slept until 10 and then, just got on with the day. I had a lot of emails to catch up on. Of course, everybody would coming back from any vacation. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to get emails while you're away. But then I went down to St. Pete, downtown, and interviewed a patient from one of our doctors, 13th Avenue Media client, also Dr. Whisperer client, both, I guess, which happens a lot. And we interviewed this patient about the services that he provided before he moved to Houston. And it was really great. She was phenomenal, Marty. She was really good. And she was also a successful businesswoman, which she did mention, and I loved. So it is very difficult to turn off the business brain. It's not too difficult to do in Las Vegas, though, because there is a lot of distraction there. I did wake up, like I mentioned a few times about it, because I do tend to get a little anxious this time of year, if I'm being really honest. It is the time of year that I will be meeting with the bookkeeper who will tell me what to tell the accountant, and taxes and all that stuff gets discussed. And I have a meeting on Friday and I'm dreading it. And I love Jeff. He's so great. But I really, if I could just go my entire business without ever talking about financials and P&Ls, and I would be thrilled. And I know that this difference is going to be way different than all the other years because now there's 2 businesses and I have a partner in one of them that I never see and I never talk to. That is true. It's very rare because he's so busy doing his other business. And so it's just, everybody's busy. So anyway, it is, hubby just texted me. He's not coming home till 8:15. Oh, that's terrible. So it's really hard to think about taxes. When you don't understand something very clearly, it becomes difficult. And it causes my anxiety. And I know what the cure is. So the cure is to learn more about it. But I'm not going to do it. I know myself too well. And I'd rather just pay the professionals and move on. So hello to my one viewer. I think that this time of year also gives a great opportunity to plan for the next year. And I talk about that a lot. October, November, December. But going away in November and then being thrust into December is like, we are going to lunch. That's what entrepreneurs do in December. People want to take businesses that have referred you business, colleagues that you've met in business. It's all about Christmas. It's all about the holidays, and let's get together and let's have lunch and let's go to Hollywood. Oh my God. So I've just RSVP'd to a holiday evening event. At least it's on a Thursday because I just won't go on the weekend. They're too precious. And coming back from vacation, there's a lot of work to do now and new clients coming on board and blah, 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 blah. So I'm very grateful to be back from vacation, but I really, really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed every minute of it. There was not a lot of sleep happening, and there was a lot of movement, and there was no bike riding actually. And I went to the gym twice, and I ate meat, and I ate ice cream, and I did all the things that I don't typically do. But that's what you do on vacation, right? So now it's back to reality. When I did wake up at 10 o'clock, I went to the gym because I felt so bad mentally, physically, that I knew the only thing that would help would be to work out. So I ran a few miles, and I feel better. That's what happens. And then going to work, being thrust back into just being busy is really a really good way to get you back in the groove. So now I'm home, Charlie Brown beside me on the floor, as always. And it's so good to see him. And, it's the end of the year. So I hope you're planning for it. And I hope that my meeting with my bookkeeper on Friday goes well. And I hope for a lot of things as we enter into December and a new year is upon us. And there's new and exciting opportunities coming my way that if they secure, I will be sure to tell you about. But if they do not, I won't be mentioning too much. But last thing I will say is that if you go on vacation, you should try to turn off your business brain, because it is so important to remember why you're doing what you're doing so you can go and enjoy your life. And we enjoyed it so much. And there were a lot of perks of being a business owner that allowed us the opportunity to stay in this wonderful place. And also my entrepreneurial ways was a great way of getting us into Gordon Ramsay's restaurant with no reservation, even though they only take reservations and they're like 2 weeks out. Still got in. Okay, so enjoy your night. I'm glad to be back. And I hope if you are going on vacation and you're going to spend time with your family during the holidays, that that's what you do. You just spend time with the people you love, because it's really important. And there won't be any more of these Vegas trips in the near future. Saturday, I'm going to go out with a business friend and we're going to meditate and have massage done. If you're watching, Rob, I haven't told you yet, but that's what we're doing. Jessica invited me. Okay. And that is my idea of a vacation. Bye.